This is all 100% true. This man and this crane are functionally married, and they have children and grandchildren. That crane's name is Walnut, and she is part of an endangered species. She was placed with a preservation back in the 80s before they realized that this species of crane will actually imprint on any animal around it. And this part's kind of sad. She no longer believes that members of her species are actually members of her species. She thinks she's human, more or less. And since this is an endangered species, they've actually tried to get her to mate with other cranes. And she Carol Baskined 2 male cranes, which is a bad thing if you're trying to preserve a species. Back in the early 2000s, she was transferred to the Smithsonian Biological Institute, and around the same time, Chris joined. Chris's name, of course, being Chris Crow. Walnut took a shine to Chris Crow. In fact, she initiated a mating ritual with him. And Chris is super chill, and he's also super about preservation, so he's like, what if I just did it back? Then it would make the artificial insemination process much easier. Because usually they have to restrain the birds, it's a whole thing. So Chris did what any biological preservationist would do, and he did the dance back, and she accepted. They, they have multiple children. Their children have children, so he is a crane grandparent. I've told this before, it never gets old. And because they're worried that Walnut might harm the baby cranes, they actually take the eggs from her and they have other cranes raise them. And so what they do is they give her fake eggs, but she thinks that they're real. So one thing that she actually insists on is that Chris occasionally stand over the nest to protect them, which he does because he's a really good guy. And since she's imprinted on humans, and since she thinks that Chris is her partner, they mate for life. Like, this species mates for life. They are together forever. These cranes live to be about 60 years old, and I think Walnut's about 38. And this was actually so successful they've been able to replicate with some other birds, too. So I guess no one tell Walnut that Chris has other bird wives on the side. All joking aside, I really do appreciate that Chris is willing to go so far above and beyond to save an endangered species. And if you watch interviews of him, he's a really chill, really decent dude. I want to make sure that I say that out loud. I wish the happy couple nothing but the best, genuinely.